And action.
Welcome to the art of the playlist. The art of the
Yay.
playlist. Yes. Thanks for the enthusiasm, Patty.
I
The
love the
art
enthusiasm.
yeah, we're gonna save your enthusiasm for later because I don't think it'll ever come. Um, but the art of the playlist is a music podcast that brings you curated playlists and the stories that motivated them. I am Robert LaFrance, and I am here with my mates, Christian and Patty.
Hi,
Hi,
Rob. I'm
guys.
Patty Pino.
I'm Christian Godbout. How are you guys?
Better than you.
In this case, definitely.
So today's theme is date night songs. Woo-hoo.
Woohoo!
Who doesn't
Love
love
me some date night.
it actually kind of feels ambitious because technically that requires a date.
I'll be your date, Rob.
Oh. We did have one, my wife and I had one a couple weeks ago. I vaguely remember it, so we should build a playlist for it.
Yeah, it's nice to go on a date and have cool music to play.
Yep. So, what's your date night philosophy, playlist philosophy, Patty? Do you have a philosophy about how you compose your date night playlist?
Yeah, well, you really have to keep the other person in mind. When I was composing my playlist, I was thinking about Jeff, who's my boyfriend, in the early part of our relationship. Like, what would be an early date we were on? And what would I want to convey to him? So I want to play songs that I think he would like and be interested in, but I also want to play stuff that's representative of me. So my list is kind of a hybrid of the stuff that I would like that I think he would like, and also stuff that is like my vibe.
Very cool.
That's kind of where I went with it.
So I had 2 things. I think a good date night playlist has either one of 2 things. Either 1, it creates a vibe, just generally a romantic, nice vibe, or 2, it projects a message, right? Like
Oh.
you maybe the message is how you feel about them or how you want them to feel about you, kind of that communication. But it could be just a vibe, which is, warm, romantic, something like that. But either of those 2 things is what I did to develop my playlist. And so the songs that I put on my list are very intentional, which reminds me a lot of, like, those physical mixtapes we used to make, back in the
Yeah,
80s and
right.
90s.
I loved getting those from if a guy gave me a mixtape, it was, like,
Oh.
so heart pitter
Oh.
patter.
Yeah, that's very
Here, I
high
have
school
one.
Oh,
romantic. Oh,
wow!
look at you.
This is one I made for my wife in 1995, and you can see this
Oh,
kind of artwork on the cover, but, what I think was cool about it back in the '80s and '90s was that you took great care not only in the song selection but also, like, the case design, the artwork. It was like a mini masterpiece. So, my playlist is kind of a digital version of that.
I will
yeah,
say in the
and
digital world, it's a little unfortunate that we don't have the artistic thing
Yeah.
about, like, your handwriting or little doodles or sketches you might do, and I miss artwork even for the albums, like,
um,
the covers and the inserts and the posters and the lyrics, that was always a piece of the music experience when we were growing up.
and I think too, just depending how far back you go, just getting that song could be a challenge, right? You're going to be listening to the radio. Remember that? The radio? And you would listen and you'd be like, oh, I know my song's coming up. And you'd be listening, waiting to hit record, or you'd
Oh,
record it all and have to go
yeah.
back and edit it. Yeah. So there was a lot more effort. Not saying this isn't important, but there was effort behind that.
Or you'd have to go and spend 16.99 on a full-length CD just so you could get that one song to put on your playlist.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that. Sourcing the music was always a real challenge. Now
Yeah.
it's
Before
just
computers. Yeah. But now
yeah.
it's
Well,
Napster changed everything
now it's, like, in our pocket. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost
for
too
sure.
easy now.
Mm.
So, Patty, you wanna tell us a bit about your playlist?
Sure, sure. Like I said, I was thinking about back in the day, when I first started dating Jeff and some of the stuff that I would put on there. I started my playlist with an older song, an old jazz song, and my playlist kind of runs through jazz and rock. And um, I didn't want to come on too strong in the lovey-dovey way, but I did start out. It's hard when you're a girl; you got to like walk that line. I did start out with Etta James, "Sunday Kind of Love," and I did that for two reasons. One is I'm a huge fan of the old like jazz, soul, R&B singers. I love scat singing. I love that whole if I could like choose my own reincarnation, I might want to be reincarnated as a person who could sing like that. That would be amazing. Um, and Sunday Kind of Love has an important meaning for me emotionally in that that was always the hardest day for me when I was single. So you guys met your partners like when you were in your 20s, but I didn't meet Jeff till many years later. So for many moons, I would spend Sunday mornings by myself, and that was always the loneliest moment. So Sunday
Hmm.
Kind of Love, the lyrics of that speak to that, like I want somebody on a Sunday morning kind of deal.
Oh, Patty, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah,
You
you
Oh,
love
bring
me
thanks.
on Sunday
I'm being
Solid
honest.
gold.
no, I feel like a bad friend. I should have been calling you every Sunday morning.
Thanks. That's
Uh,
okay. It's okay. It was moments, you know. The next song that I put on the playlist is the Beatles, "Oh Darlin'." I really love the Beatles. The Beatles goes back to when I was a kid and my dad and the AM radio in the car and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like "Oh Darlin'" has like there's a love vibe there, and it's a strong vocal. So it's not really too rock and roll Beatles, but it's enough that you're bringing in that vibe. And the third song I picked to start out, kick off my playlist, um, is not a traditional song you might think of as a date night song because it's about being a rock and roll star. It's called Shooting Star. There's a little bit of a reference to somebody um, with a drug overdose, which isn't the vibe I wanna give, but the but the real vibe of it is about you're a shooting star, Bad Company. Don't you know you're a shooting star and all the world will love you just as long as you are. It's all about being a rock and roll star. And I know that my now boyfriend, but when we were in the beginning of our dating time, that he played guitar and he was into rock, and I thought that would be a good addition to the playlist.
I
Now
love
I
that song, by the way. That's a great
Oh,
oh yeah.
cool. Yeah. I do have a bonus track that I will confess to adding a little bit later in my process. And the reason I have a bonus track is to be really candid, I'm a music geek. I'm into like deep cuts and weird stuff, and I want to play something not just mainstream, although playlists for parties might be more mainstream. But I also want to like challenge people with interesting music. And back in the early 2000s, I was really into this band. They're no longer together, the London Souls. They were out of New York City.
Okay.
And that band is like a hybrid of if Lenny Kravitz and Led Zeppelin and Prince were all mashed together. That's how the London Souls came across. So they were like bluesy, funky, heavy guitar rock. Actually, their guitarist has gone on to sing and play with Slash on some of his music compilation tours. So the guys in the band are still in the scene, but the London Souls doesn't exist as they are. And I added this bonus track to my list called "The Sound." And it's just a really representative song of that band and that vibe, and that's kind of a good test for a guy I'm dating to see if he would be into the more
Uh,
interesting stuff too.
so it's
So
not just a playlist, it's a test.
Of course, it's a test. Everything's a test.
What is that?
Fortunately for me, Jeff had already been into the London Souls. He had already seen them live, and we were actually at the same show but didn't know. And so it all worked out for the best, for
See,
sure.
that's just a geek dating another geek.
You know it. You know it.
That's awesome. I love that.
Cool. Christian, you wanna go or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, sure. I could talk a little bit about my playlist. I think my playlist goes back to being a kid of the 70s and 80s. And both my wife and I, I'm slightly older than her, but she would say I'm much older. Um, it's not the years, it's the mileage, right? uh, but I started off with something I thought had a nice tone to it. 'Cause Al Green, "Let's Stay Together." Right? I think that just sort of sets a good vibe, right? You can't go wrong with Al Green. And then um, I went into "You Are the Sunshine of My Life." Right? Stevie Wonder still kind of got that nice smooth going, but she's a huge Fleetwood Mac's fan, so I brought in "Sarah," which I think was a nice song. And then I went to more of the '80s type stuff, like "I Want to Know What Love Is," and then I threw in some Smooth Operator Sade because
Oh, you gotta have it.
you know. But back to the '80s with "In Your Eyes" and "Drive" by the Cars and "True," like those types of songs. They make me feel like going back to, I don't know, maybe grammar school, high school, when you're just starting to have those dances, and those songs were popular at the time, and I think they've got a lot of memories. And I think too, just having been married for so long, those songs over time have developed memories between us. So I think that that's important. One of my favorite rock and roll romantic type songs is "Romeo and Juliet" by Dire Straits. I play that all the time. So, you know, but I did close it out with "As Time Goes By" from from our wedding. It was our wedding song, but it was the theme to Casablanca. So, I mean, I got to get points for that, right? I mean,
Yeah. I had Al Green, "Let's Stay Together" on my list too. It's a classic for
yeah,
sure.
you can't go wrong with Al Green.
Mhm.
Very sentimental, Christian. I'm
Oh,
impressed.
that's
Like,
the
Yeah.
kind of guy I am. You know,
I love
what do you have on your list?
yeah, so I started and I wanna talk about 4 tracks on there's more on the playlist if you once you download it online or stream it online, there's more, but I wanted to start I like you, Christian, I started with something that was obvious. My wife and I were married many years ago, and this song was actually not our first dance. That honor went to "All I Ask of You" from the Phantom of the Opera musical, which is beautiful but a little over the top for just a regular date night. So, I had to pick something, that was, not required you to wear a cape to listen to. Like, this is
That
so
should be a playlist.
Wearing a cape on a date playlist?
Yes.
Vampires need not apply?
songs you wear wearing a cape is a good playlist, so I like that idea. Future episode of Art of
Mhm. We have to play some, like, old Peter Gabriel or Todd Rundgren when they used to wear those crazy '70s makeup
Oh,
and
yeah.
outfits and stuff. Anyway.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But for
Digress.
for my date night playlist, I went with something a little bit more danceable, a little bit more classic, timeless, and it really captures the essence of our relationship. It Had to Be You by Harry Connick Jr. It's a true, like, crooner
Yeah,
standard.
can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. It's romantic, but it doesn't try too hard. I find it to be like the musical equivalent of saying, "Hey, you're the right person, and we're still together." Like it sends that message. So when I told you at the top, I wanted to. There's it either sets a vibe or sends a message. So that very much kind of sends that message of, "Hey, we're still in love after all these years." So that's my first one. The next track is a nostalgic throwback to high school. So in high school, I was dating a girl whose father was an audiophile. He had this immense audio system in his living room that he used to allow me to listen to once in a while. And he gave me my first CD player because he upgraded. And so he gave
Wow.
me my first CD player, which was his old one. And the first CD I ever bought, this song was on it. And it has the lyrics, "Cupid sends Valentines." So it's like
Mm.
cheating for a date night playlist. It's kind of obvious, but the song is "Wishing Well" by Terence Trent D'Arby.
Yeah.
But
I love me
now,
some
no,
Terence
not
Trent
he doesn't
D'Arby.
go by Terence Trent D'Arby anymore. You have to call him.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm never going to pronounce this properly, but like Sundra Matreo or something. It's like a weird pronunciation. But anyway, Trent D'Arby back in the day had that long braided hair. He was
yeah,
full
right.
style, and it's very soulful. romantic. It's not too soft, but it's romantic. So it's totally a vibe track. Like that sets the vibe of the night. Did you guys like that song or no? Is it too
Oh,
cheesy?
No.
totally. Oh, yeah, I did. I like Terence Trent D'Arby. I was thinking that he used to record as Romeo Blue, but that's not right. That was Lenny Kravitz that used to record as Romeo Blue. So these guys, every once in a while, will shift up their names for whatever
Go full
popularity
Prince and just
reasons.
go to a symbol.
There you go.
And my third track is a callback to Patty's being a music geek. So this is a track that is modern, but it's a little bit of a throwback. It was written in 6/8 time. So I don't know if you guys know what 6/8 time is, but it feels a little different than your average ballad. It feels like it's a different time signature. So it just has a different feel, which is catches you a little bit off guard when you're trying to dance to it. But it has that early kinda doo-woppy feel, and it even has that classic '50s spoken word voiceover, like, halfway through, the guy comes on in a deep voice, he's like, "Hey, baby." You know, that
Wait, what kind of song is this, Rob?
Yeah. It's not from a porno, I promise.
All
Um,
right.
but and that spoken word voiceover really should not work, but it absolutely does in this song. The song is "Can I Call You Rose" by the Sacred Souls. And that's a band you should check out if you haven't yet. It's I don't remember exactly the year the album came out, but it's like in the last 5 years, and really great album that has like a vintage vibe to it, but it still sounds fresh at the same time, and it's something that you can slow dance to in your kitchen. So it's a really nice,
Hmm,
vibe track.
that
Very
sounds
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
And then I
okay.
have one more. So Patty, when you were talking about the early stages of your relationship with Jeff, this one might be appropriate for that. Um, so this song is talks about the early stages of a relationship. It's 2 singers, one is a male, one is female, and they go back and forth with their lyrics, kinda like a conversation. And it's like their inner voice of the relationship and how they're feeling, their insecurities, kind of like the mental gymnastics you went through early in a relationship, like, "Oh my god, did I text too fast? Wa was that joke too much over the top? Or is he thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about her?" Whatever. It captures that phase of a relationship where you're just overthinking every interaction, in a really interesting way. And so I think because it has those 2 singers, it's really poignant. So I love it, and it has a minimal vibe, and so the vocals, are front and center of the track. It's called "Say Something Loving" by the XX. It's a really cool band that you guys might wanna check out that
The
kinda
the
mixes.
letters
Yeah,
XX or
XX, yep, the
okay.
XX,
The
yep,
XX, okay.
yep.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, that's cool. So, that was my playlist, kinda that 2 either sending a message or setting a vibe. That's really the point of that. So,
How
um,
long do you guys think a playlist should be?
this is a
Yeah.
great topic.
So there could be a whole debate about that. Yeah, I go anywhere from 12 to 20 songs to, I mean, if it's a road trip, it could be 100 songs. Who knows?
Mm.
Yeah, I think it largely depends on the type of playlist that you're making. For this one, I kept it short and just had the songs that I selected, and they were very specific selections because I wanted very specific songs that would set the vibe. But I think that for some playlists, like when I did the driving playlist, I did a playlist for driving. If you're on a long drive, you want maybe a couple hours worth of music, but this one is shorter. But so I think it largely depends on the subject matter that you're making a playlist for. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. The event or the instance where where you're playing the music and also the audience or the people who are gonna be hearing the music. I think you have to take both into consideration. So
Yeah,
it would make
agreed.
sense that a date night playlist would be a little shorter because 'cause you're probably in the car or you're just vibing at home. It's not gonna be a marathon for sure.
Right. Yeah, like a dinner music playlist, right? It's going to be a set amount of time because you otherwise, or cocktail hour, right? Something like that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep. So we should ask the listeners, what songs would you put on your date night playlist, and tell us a bit about the song and why you put it on the playlist, because this is the art of the playlist. So we want to talk about more of the reasons why, not just the individual songs. But listen, date night is not effortless or frequent for some of us. So the right playlist really does matter. It
This is true.
can set a
Very true,
tone,
Rob.
send a message, and remind somebody why they're still with you. So it's important. And that, my friends, is the art of the playlist.
Well done.
Yay.
Trust us, not the algorithm.
That's right.
We got you.
All good. Human beings here.
All right, folks. Anything
Thanks,
else
you
to add?
guys.
No, I think that was great. Thank you. You guys did a great job on your playlists. Thank you.
You too. See ya.
All right. Bye now.